Crumbs, Migas by Rebecca Torino Collinsworth. Characters: Ivan, brother to Maria Elena, 24. Maria Elena, sister to Ivan, 22. Adelio, their estranged father, an English tutor and former dissident, 40 to 50. Alaya, their adoptive mother, a media celebrity, 40 to 50. Beth, a journalist, producer who works closely with Alaya, 28 to 34. Setting and time. Simultaneously 2 places and 2 times. Yesterday and the day before in Costa Rica, a poor, fictional Latin American country of rich resources that has been effectively controlled by U.S. economic interests since a brutal war 15 years ago. All of the action takes place in the Hilton Hotel in San Romero, the capital city. And today in a government office in Los Angeles, California, USA. Act 1. Lights rise on Ivan, today in Los Angeles. He addresses a person or persons unseen.
Spelled A-L-M-A-N-Z-A, first name I-V-A-N. Will your transcriber be able to note pronunciation? Since you live here, if you see my name in print, you might think it was pronounced Ivan. And imagine I was born in Russia, and I run into that. Like, I drink vodka and wear a furry hat and talk about communism. You want to ask me about communism? For some people, communism boils down to the threat of the gulag. Many in the West encourage the association. They'll point to a Chinese and North Korean prison camps, which, while not true expressions of communism, are scary for sure. We in the US also have prison camps, but we don't call them that. It matters what we call things. I'm not actually Russian, but I could be. I want to stress I could be Russian because what happened to my family is ordinary. It could have happened anywhere in the world, and it still happens all over the world. Even if I were Russian, you wouldn't call me Ivan. Over most of planet Earth, I-V-A-N is pronounced Ivan. You've watched my family and me for years, so you're under the impression that you know me, and all this time you've been calling me by the wrong name. My point is, don't believe them. They're all full of shit. Context is everything. Nobody has time for context. No, I'm not a communist.
The light on Ivan fades as a practical light on the stand clicks on, revealing Alaya. Facing her, a tripod. Maria Elena sits in a chair beside it, holding a cell phone. Beth stands nearby, adjusting a diffuser.
Okay.
How are we doing?
I think we're good. You happy with this, Marie?
Yeah, let me just...
Maria Elena mounts her cell phone on the tripod.
Of all the cameras and all the gin joints and all the world, you had to use your cell phone.
This has an excellent camera.
Oh, honey.
And it's much less conspicuous, Alaya.
Oh, how much easier has that device made it for anyone to just mindlessly throw up footage online? You will clear everything with me first. That's non-negotiable.
Yes.
That's why I never let you and your brother keep your cell phones on as teenagers, as draconian as it seemed.
A light isolates Ivan in the present.
Well, not so much draconian. Neurotic.
We promise we'll do nothing without your consent.
This is what happened the day before I arrived, according to my sister.
Hey, where are we?
You won't need to say it. We can add the location in the title sequence later.
Or I could do it in voiceover.
Sure.
City and country, I think.
San Romero, Costa Rica.
I wonder how many people know where Costa Rica is.
If they don't, they're about to.
But where are we?
We're in a suite at the Hilton.
The infamous Hilton. It's been 15 years.
It's gonna be fine.
That's not what I asked.
You'd hardly believe this is the same place.
Tell that to my nervous system.
I mean, I don't know what I was expecting.
Did you see the bar downstairs? There's a 6-flight coffee tasting menu.
Where?
They had a sandwich board out. It's right off the memorial atrium.
The plaque on the wall reads in Spanish and English, "This memorial was erected in honor of the glorious uniformed fallen who fought to restore the peace."
I thought we could take Ivan when he gets here. When's he getting here?
Tomorrow morning.
I didn't join them on the private plane. I flew commercial.
Yvonne, huh?
Going by Yvonne now.
Okay.
Ivan or Ivan makes no difference to me. I just thought since he likes coffee.
My brother wouldn't be caught dead drinking that. He's way too much of
A snob.
I was gonna say communist.
No, you weren't.
I'm not a communist.
He's got his principles.
Oh, he's much too principled to set foot in a place where goods are exchanged for currency.
Or on any jet we charter for that matter.
I thought Ivan was a socialist.
In my experience at 24, the distinction is fairly meaningless.
Whatever. He won't be going to the hotel bar for his coffee.
If you want the United States to be your boyfriend, equate socialism with communism. While you're at it, substitute Leninism for communism and Stalinism for Leninism. Stalinism, of course, is Marxism. And Marx, with his big white beard, is a bizarro Santa Claus who wants to take all your sugar plums away so that everyone on Earth will be equally miserable.
Marie.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm asking you, where are we?
The framing.
I was thinking tight, crown to neck.
Oh, can we retreat a bit? Give me some shoulders. Beth?
Let's do collarbones.
That'll be better, right?
Whatever you say.
Wait, you're not looking. Take a look and tell me.
Maria Elena reframes the shot, scrutinizing Alaya.
My, what lovely teeth you have.
The better to eat you with, my dear. Seriously, how do I look?
You look very clean,
Clean?
squeaky,
Smooth.
scrubbed.
As in, I just got out of a Korean spa scrubbed, like tight and shiny?
In a good way.
Like sloughed?
Are you referring to my pores?
I wasn't looking at your pores.
Well, you should be looking at everything.
I meant clean, like controlled, I guess.
Like in control or under control?
What's the difference? Are you gonna dissect every word I say?
I'm the one on camera, kid. So
Mom, you promised. It's my birthday.
it's not your birthday.
It could be my birthday. You don't know. What? It could be my birthday.
I'm here. I'm letting you do this, aren't I? Look, I'm not trying to aggravate you. I'm only.
You look like you always look.
Okay.
God, what?
Nothing.
Alaya, you look composed.
Ouch.
Composed is good.
It's a placeholder. Am I wrong? An insult by the omission of a compliment.
You need a compliment, Mom? How should we describe you? Hot, fuckable.
Please.
Perhaps if we try
That's
to...
not your brand. You're the goddamn soul of America. You might as well own it.
And the soul of America can't be.
Say it. We're not recording yet.
Our mother doesn't curse.
Baby, you want my job someday because it's a lot harder than it used to be. Someone is always recording.
Yes, we are. It's just us.
Just us?
And here come the scare quotes.
I don't think that way, Marie. I can't. I always imagine someone's hiding in the closet recording me because they usually are.
See, I just don't think we're all that interesting or anyone's that bored.
You're bored. I'm bored. All Americans are chronically bored. We don't realize what a gift
I acknowledge
boredom
my privilege.
is.
I acknowledge my privilege. God forbid I take issue with
No,
anything.
we're so bored, we're ravenous, and not for food, for the tiniest morsel of content. Your words have the power to feed people. You have to be careful what you say, careful who you feed. You don't want to nourish your enemies.
There's the neurosis.
You don't have enemies.
Because I choose my words with care. If I look bad on camera, you have to tell me so I can fix it.
We're not green rooming you.
But you haven't been nice. You can be truthful and kind at the same time, Marie. It's not hard.
Of course we can. I'm sorry.
Me, it goes without saying that you're beautiful.
Well, it doesn't.
She still hasn't said it.
You're beautiful. Jesus.
All right.
Alaya adjusts in her seat. She's quickly transitioning to broadcast mode.
Are you ready for me, Beth?
Marie,
Yeah, okay.
why don't we go into it? We can let it run.
Beth fiddles with the camera.
Framed up and recording.
Honey, you know I love you.
Love you too. Should we start with the obvious?
You want me to talk about the photo?
Yep.
Alaya looks in the camera and takes a breath.
The photo.
Lights shift, brightening on Yvonne. There's something in the air. Is it ash? Snow?
It was taken in the shot out lobby of the San Romero Hilton. You've probably already seen it. It's just one of those images. Although as a portrait of suffering, it's hardly unique. I don't know why some of those photos stick while others melt into vague sewers of forgotten outrage. The photographer's dead. Maybe that has something to do with it. They're two little kids, a boy and a girl, who look like they're 5 or 6, but I happen to know they're 9 and 7. Their eyes appear huge, their elbows sharp. It's easy to see there's already something very wrong with these kids, in advance of the very wrong thing that happened right before the click of the shutter. The girl's crying. There's boy's holding her hand, stoic. He looks right at the lens. There's a snowfall of plaster suspended in the air. A lot of it has settled on the two kids. Their hair and clothes are a dull ivory. What was once a fountain behind them is practically rubble. Visible nearby are 5 adult bodies who've apparently been recently dispatched by automatic weapons. That the children are standing there, breathing, they seem to exist purely on their creator's whim. These 2 dirty puppets bobbing on the hands of a sadist. The photograph made my mother famous. It made my sister and me rich. It ruined my father's life.
The falling particles cease. Lights rise around Yvonne, transporting us out of the present to his suite in the San Romero Hilton. He has recently arrived. Beth enters.
When did you get in? How did you make it past Alaya?
The carpets are deep pile, and the front desk guys are a discreet breed.
They hug. It's a little bit awkward.
She'll want to know you got here safe.
She'd hang a bell around my neck if she could.
She's in the bar downstairs.
You know where she is. Why don't you tell her?
Because that's not what I'm here for.
Here in my room?
Here in San Romero.
This was very new. There's a lot I didn't know about her. I should shower. I'm wrecked.
I heard a rumor you flew commercial?
Mm-hmm.
Economy. Not even first class. Kind of obnoxious, don't you think?
Sure. That's what I was going for.
Suitcase full of what? Tube socks and jockey shorts?
I tried to be inconspicuous, but my screen in the seat back was broken, and a woman in my row recognized me.
Ooh, chatted with your seatmate, did ya?
She was reading that article, the home tour my mom did.
Architectural Digest.
She had many, many questions about the coffered ceilings in the Montecito house.
Coffered? That's not a real word.
You're right. I made it up.
You didn't get a nap. You must be tired. I'll let you go.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. I've been here for 36 hours and I slept like a baby on my flight.
I should have called you.
I felt a little stupid on the tarmac, suggesting we wait.
It was a last-minute decision.
It must have been. It didn't come up the other night.
The other night, I left a few things out.
Can you guess how it feels to be one of 3 grown women on a runway holding a cell phone, waiting to hear from you?
Bad?
I only found out you weren't getting on the plane when you texted Marie. On the upside, the icebox was stuffed with Pamplemousse La Croix.
I think most people call it LaCroix.
That doesn't make it right. Why'd you come here at all?
I wasn't going to. That sounds shitty. I was on the fence about it. It's hard to say no to my mother.
That's why you stood us up at the airport. What about your sister?
What about her?
The reason we're here, re-traumatizing Alaya, Marie's documentary.
That's Marie's thing. And Mom will be fine. The doc is about her.
The doc is about your family, and Marie's counting on you to participate.
You don't seem concerned about me, that I might be re-traumatized.
I've never heard you mention the coup, the violence. Is that why you didn't want to travel here?
I have no real memories of the war. I was a toddler.
Weren't you 9 when you were evacuated?
Yeah, I was a little kid.
You seemed okay. You seem okay. Are you not?
We really didn't know each other very well.
I'm trying to be sensitive to.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just saying, you're on my mom's payroll, and obviously I'm not your priority, or I can't be.
Really?
Really?
Were you aware that you were shaking your head no?
What?
You were shaking your head while you answered, I'm fine. That's called dysynchrony.
And it means...
You might be holding something back. Is trauma a factor for you in terms of why you were on the fence about the trip?
Of course it would be, I guess.
So, not because you can't say no to your mother.
There was more than one reason. Listen, I'm not on board for the documentary, haven't signed on to it. I didn't come here for it. I also take exception to the trappings.
The trappings.
Oh, the private plane, the transcontinental odyssey, the eventual media interviews, the word from our sponsors, the whole enterprise. I object to the concept of enterprise in general. This can't be news to you.
If you don't care about the documentary, what are you doing here?
I care about other things. And people. I care about people.
You want me to ask what people you care about. So you can say you care about your mother and your sister, and then you can look at me significantly like that.
I don't know how to talk to you yet.
I'm not a patient person.
You won't allow me an inch of self-delusion. How the hell do you restrain yourself around my mother? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't call.
You just did it again.
It was time for me to show her the letter.
Ivan, I'm here for work, so why don't I go and do that?
I need your help.
I don't work for you.
Ivan retrieves the letter from one of his bags. He gives it to Beth.
When did you get this?
5 days ago.
This is local postage.
This person says he's my father. My living father. Meaning if he was our father, he wasn't dead. We'd always assumed he was.
Beth returns the envelope to Ivan.
What's going on in there? ... I was doing an ellipsis.
Yeah, I got that. You've been sitting on this. You had it the last time I saw you.
I didn't know what to do with it yet.
You could have told me.
But you don't work for me, right? What do you think?
Not to burst your bubble, but he could be a pretender.
I don't think there's a bubble.
How could there not be?
I hope this letter finds. I lost you during a hard time in my life. Okay, here. Because I betrayed my country, I passed 10 years in prison.
Huh.
Then he says, it was good that you and your sister got out. Cantuta Rica was a precarious place, dangerous, especially for children. I haven't seen your pictures, and I'm happy to learn that you live with prosperity. That is the desire of all fathers. I ask nothing material from you. I would like you to know me because I believe that I will not make harm for you now. Much has been restored and there is no danger. Then he asked me to come and meet him.
Has Marie seen this?
Not yet.
Alaya?
Are you kidding? It's bizarre, isn't it?
Which part?
Everyone knows about the corruption here. Everyone knows that they disappeared, tortured, killed people. Maybe they still do.
Everyone does not know. Most people don't even know what they don't know.
You can Google this shit. It's on the Amnesty International homepage. Clearly, this man does not live on the same plane of reality as me. I mean, there's no danger.
There isn't much in this part of town. It's like Disneyland. Does he live in San Romero?
Yeah,
Near here?
the outskirts.
Yeah, then he's aware of the danger. Organized crime, including the government. He might have been trying to placate the postal censors.
Postal censors?
Can I see?
Ivan hands Beth the letter.
He wrote the same stuff twice, once in Spanish. I mean, at least I think it's the same.
It's similar. He writes that although he's an English tutor, he considers himself more eloquent in his native language.
I didn't know he spoke Spanish. Why didn't I know that? You asked what I'm doing here? I want to meet him. His name's Adelio Salva.
Your presence in this country attracts attention.
That's not my fault.
I didn't say it was. Have you been photographed?
I just arrived.
Not at the airport, getting into a taxi, checking in.
I don't know. Why?
He might already know you're here. This could be a scam. He'd know about your family. He could be backed by a cartel planning to kidnap and ransom you. If he was actually in prison, they may have tortured him and he may be unstable. I can think of 20 ways this could go bad.
Can you stop doing damage control for my mother?
Your being in the city visibly is not exactly safe.
I'm not leaving this country without contacting him. So
I wish your sister had listened to me.
my family's not your problem to solve.
You just asked for my help.
Well, then I guess I'm fucking stupid. I'm not trying to put anything on you. I wanted you to know.
He takes the letter.
This is big for me. I thought you'd understand.
I do. I'm concerned. Will you let me check this guy out? I can find him, do some digging, make sure he is who he says he is. I'm a field producer. It's what I do.
Beth, this isn't a producing job.
It's not a job at all. We're friends. It's a favor for a friend.
Oh, we're friends.
Shut up.
You can't tell my family. Coming back here, my mother's already halfway to a nervous breakdown. And I don't want Marie to get hurt.
I'll compartmentalize.
It won't be easy. It was tough for me before, not to talk to you about it.
I get it. I have secrets too.
You do? Who are you? Will you tell me one?
What?
A secret. So we're even.
Beth gets much closer to Ivan. She says something softly in his ear.
Really? I knew I liked you.
Now go downstairs. Say hi to your mom.
Will you go with me?
Nope.
You sure?
I've got to find Adelio Selva.
Lights shift. A bar off the Memorial Atrium in the Hilton. The atrium has a high-end Metropolitan Mall vibe. Domed ceiling, chrome accents, polished stone floors. Maria Elena and Alaya sit at a small table in the atrium just outside the bar entrance, having recently been served the coffee flight. Maria Elena is looking at the colorful pamphlet about coffee.
You coming down anytime soon? I think we're supposed to drink these right away. Something about the crema?
Oh, no. She won't be joining us. Huh.
What is it?
Nothing. Looks like she's scouting locations this afternoon.
She's not coming. This was her idea.
She's doing her job. She didn't fly halfway across the world to drink coffee.
I thought I'd be doing the scouting. She'd be with me, but...
Relax. Beth knows what to do.
And I'm trying to learn. If she doesn't let me.
This part is a lot of footwork. You're not missing anything. She'll present you with options probably tomorrow. You're lucky to have her on your first important student film. Imagine.
She's being paid, right? More than airfare and lodging.
She's not an indentured servant.
Then could you please tell her to keep me in the loop?
Honey, that's what she's doing.
No, she isn't.
You're taking this a little personally.
Because it's my film.
You sound like an amateur. Beth's the best I've ever seen. When we went off air, I told her she'd always have a job with me. You will alienate her with the micromanaging.
You're worried I'll ruin your comeback. That's what this is.
Well, why shouldn't your film be good for both of us?
You're impossible.
Besides, it's not a comeback. It's a pivot. I just needed time and space to imagine what I might be beyond 42 minutes and a theme song.
Do what you say and say what you do. Starting today, you can choose your life.
Take this moment to choose your life.
It's yours.
Now's the moment to use your life. Ooh.
Mock all you want. We helped a lot of people. 5 afternoons a week for 12 years.
I was raised by Alaya Almansa, the architect of Choose Your Life television. My mother is worshipped by millions, and I can't even think about her show without rolling my eyes. So who's the bigger asshole here? My mom or me?
I still believe in it. Even when you and your brother take for granted everything my quaint little concept affords you.
Nobody could fill the vacuum you left. Nobody's even bothered to try.
Well, it was painful letting it go. But the media landscape evolves rapidly. And if you aren't strategic in your thinking, you won't survive. You'll be left behind.
I'm trying to think strategically. Beth left me behind anyway.
Listen to me. I've got you. You won't fail because I won't allow it. Where's this insecurity coming from? Have you ever wanted for anything?
I mean, no, not really.
You're not that hungry little girl anymore. You haven't been for years. These have been sitting a while. You want to toss them, reorder?
No way. They'll hate us.
Maria Elena refers to the pamphlet.
I'll start with the one on your left. We taste and then we look at the flavor wheel and discuss.
2, survival.
Limón. Clementina.
There's an English version on the back.
This way's more fun. Toronja.
Grapefruit.
Correct.
Naranja roja.
Right. This section is citrus. And this dulce y azucarado.
That's sweet, sugary.
Cola, caramelo. What's malvavisco?
Marshmallow.
You never spoke Spanish to us growing up.
Well, I can't really speak it. This is kids' vocabulary. You know more than I do.
I don't remember any. Palomitas de maíz.
Popcorn. But I bet it's still in there somewhere, your mother tongue.
Maybe don't talk about my mother's tongue.
You're right. What an odd expression.
What does this taste like to you?
Burnt.
What kind of burnt? Like burnt toast?
Pan tostado.
Burnt sugar?
Azúcar quemada.
I don't know. I'm getting burnt.
Coffee from this region is known for high acidity, sweet citrus notes, and a nutty finish.
Except this coffee wasn't grown locally, and it was roasted in Southern California.
Let's try the next one.
Burnt dirt. Scorched earth.
I don't see dirt here. Wait, there's soil. Tierra.
Ah.
Like terroir? Then maybe it's supposed to taste like dirt.
How do you know more about wine than coffee at your age?
I read people here mostly drink light roasts. This isn't it, right?
Ha, no.
We let it sit and killed the crema.
Honey, it was already dead. Too bad. I was looking forward to this.
There isn't much my mother remembers fondly about her last trip to San Romero 15 years ago. She remembers the coffee tasting better.
Try the next one.
These are roasted dark by design. Dark roasts create a uniformity of taste so the consumer knows what to expect. They also mask differences in the quality of the beans.
What do you think?
You tell me.
I mean, it tastes like McCafe. Should we order some food?
I think we'd better. I'm getting the shakes.
I'll go ahead and ask.
Maria Elena exits inside to the bar. The light on Ivan brightens.
Did you know Hiltons are supplied worldwide by the coffee bean and tea leaf? The beans they use are as likely to be from East Africa or the Pacific as Latin America. You can get the same stuff in your room upstairs for the Nespresso machine. The maids replenish little complimentary pods daily, along with the shampoo and the tiny bars of soap. There's a difference between the real thing and a simulation, even if you call them by the same name. Let's say here is the textbook definition of any form of government. And here is the version that's practiced by society. Here is the textbook definition of communism. Here is communism as it's actually practiced. Not the same. Now take capitalism. Do we practice textbook capitalism? In the US, only the poor are subject to capitalism. For rich corporations, we practice socialism. I don't enjoy playing this role, raining on everyone's parade.
The lights shift until Ivan is no longer isolated.
But I get around my mother. I can't seem to hold my tongue.
What an odd expression. Well, you got here in one piece. Come here and give me a kiss.
Ivan approaches Alaya and kisses her cheek.
You want some coffee? It tastes just like McCafe.
If you wanted an authentic experience.
Beth asked me to confine myself to the hotel today. Call me a Philistine, but I prefer inauthentic to dead. How was your flight?
Crowded and hot.
If you wanted a comfortable experience.
Where's Marie?
She's placing an order. You look thin. Are you hungry?
No.
Thirsty?
Ivan shakes his head. Alaya takes one of his hands and inspects it, pinching his finger.
You're dehydrated.
Mom.
I can tell by these bony fingers. What can I get you? Let me feed you something.
I wanted you to know I'd arrived.
You came down here for that? That's suspiciously nice of you.
I told Beth I would.
When?
When what?
When did you speak to Beth?
I might go out and take a walk.
That's not a good idea.
Maria Elena emerges and hugs Ivan.
Mom's been holding out on us. Did you know she can say marshmallow in Spanish? What was it? Something?
Malvavisco.
Mal. Doesn't mal mean bad?
Bad, wrong.
What could be wrong about marshmallows?
Tooth decay?
Estás mal porque comiste muchos dulces.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I just remembered it.
Mom, help me out.
There's something about eating too much candy.
This is why I've got to get outside. I won't learn anything new inside this bubble.
Don't knock the bubble. It's much nicer than the alternative.
I acknowledge my privilege.
I learned plenty inside this hotel, more than I cared to. The defining moment of my life happened right over there.
I'm going for a walk. You want to come with me?
We're staying here. Sit with us, Ivan.
He's going by Ivan, I told you.
And that's absolutely fine. Just give me a minute to catch up. Ivan.
Get out there. This place is a tomb.
Ivan.
We could get a real cup of coffee.
You're being a brat. Are you taking this in? This is where it all went down.
Yeah, I was there. Same as you.
But I don't remember it. Can't you stay a minute? It's why we're here.
Is this place a different color now? I feel like it used to be darker, like burnt sienna.
The floor tiles were terracotta. You do remember.
I think the fountain was there.
It was.
It smelled like old pennies.
Will you tell us about it, Mom?
Can we agree to be discreet? I don't want to read about the sacred beginnings of our family on TMZ.
Phones on the table? You too, Yvonne.
All three lay their phones face up on the table.
No one's recording. This is only for us.
The first time I saw you both, you were standing in front of the old fountain where it used to be there. Although Juanchu saw you before I did.
Your friend, the photographer.
I met him shortly after I arrived. He lived here in San Romero and he showed me around town. He even did some translating for me.
How'd you wind up with his camera?
Because he died, Marie.
I know, but Mom never talks about him. What was he like?
I didn't know him for very long. Not quite a month. We were about the same age. He was so funny, so genuinely funny. And he had this huge curly tangle of brown hair. There was a running joke about personal care products. When they shut down the markets, I started snagging little hotel shampoo bottles for him.
You stole shampoo?
Well, you couldn't get it. Pardon me. You couldn't get anything in the shops. Fields outside the city had been burnt. Nothing was coming in or going out. Eventually, almost everything closed. Storefronts were boarded up. I mean, the hotel was a safe zone. Mostly because foreign journalists were holed up in here in the bar, drinking and watching TV. You know, the army had struggled for a few weeks to take the city back from the rebels. Then the U.S. intervened to help. Do you have something to add?
It's just that the word help has certain generous implications, and it's been demonstrated that the United States only intervenes to secure its own interests.
Well, that's a point of view.
Can you keep the footnotes to yourself for like 30 minutes?
Sure.
Lights isolate Yvonne in the present.
But just to address the idea of U.S. intervention, we feel powerful and benevolent, spreading democracy around the globe. We say we're taking people out of bondage, making them free. We supposedly overthrew the British for the same reason. What we're really talking about, though, is not freedom, but the free market economy, a system designed to reward only a small percentage of its citizens, the ones who can amass a certain amount of wealth, while the rest of us labor in economic insecurity. Not me, obviously, because this woman decided to keep me.
The lights return to the scene in progress.
Back then, I didn't have time to debate or philosophize. I could only react. The army circulated a warning that everyone remaining in San Romero had 24 hours to get out of the city before they invaded, but Juanchu and I delayed. He didn't want to evacuate. He had friends living here, and I didn't want to leave without him.
Never made it out.
No. They were bombing all over the city, and we knew it was only a matter of time before they fired on the hotel. You could hear the explosions from far away, these crackly booms. I realized we had stayed too long. I needed to get us out. I was in the bar with Juanchu and one other reporter from the UK. The remaining hotel staff was in the lobby. Almost all the guests had already gone. My editor was on the phone saying to take the stairs to the roof right away, that there was a helicopter, when I heard all the gunfire. And we hid behind the bar and waited for the sounds to stop. And then Juanchu took his camera into the lobby. I heard him take some pictures. I heard him talking in a different kind of voice, this very soft, high voice. And I began slowly making my way towards the lobby. Someone yelled, more gunshots, then nothing. When I got to the lobby, I saw Juanchu on the ground. And it happened so quickly. I saw some other people dead, and then I turned my head and saw the shot up fountain and two people standing in front of it. Tiny, living people, lost and hungry and alone. You are the most precious beings in the world. I tried to speak to you in broken Spanish. Are you all right? Donde está su madre? The booms were coming louder than before, and I had only moments to decide what to do. I looped Juanchu's camera around my neck, took each of your hands in mine, and brought you with me up all those flights of stairs.
I was tired. You made us keep going.
You kept saying up.
Arriba.
You were talking about flying.
I knew the verb for fly was volar, but I forgot the word for helicopter. So instead I said, we're going to fly. Vamos a volar.
I remember that.
I think that's when I became your mother. The process of getting you 2 children with whom I could hardly speak to climb up to the roof with me and onto a helicopter. The event that made me into your mom unmade me as a foreign correspondent. I'd already seen so much destruction, and I had 2 children to raise. Instead, I found a new path, and you led me there.
Quan Chu's photo did that. All we did was get orphaned.
To think it all began with a plane crash, an entire civil war.
Well,
Yes, son.
the war was preceded by a military coup,
Which was preceded by a plane crash.
which was preceded by weeks of sporadic violence against poor laborers, intellectuals, and clergy.
But a year prior, the people had made history by electing a populist president who was beloved of the left. He was on a diplomatic visit to Cuba when his plane went down and he died. His government fell apart, which led to a coup, which resulted in a civil war.
I don't know where to start here. Okay, so his plane just happened to fall out of the sky?
I know what you're implying, but there was no evidence of foul play.
The United States have been trying to get him out of office for months.
Lower your voice.
He redistributed land so that farmers could form cooperatives. Who controlled the land before his election? Who wanted the land back from the farmers no matter the cost?
You're welcome to bloviate as much as you want upstairs in your room.
Who stood to lose money and power if resources were distributed more equitably?
There wasn't just one big bad. There never is in a war. Almost as soon as I arrived, we heard reports of leftist rebels gunning down army peacekeepers all over the country.
Army peacekeepers, that's rich. Reports from whom?
They were presumed to be leaked by someone embedded with the army. The army took these bursts of violence as provocation and began to take a much more brutal tack.
Alleged bursts of violence.
Yes, alleged in the reports. By the way, I thought it was understandable. They were angry their president was gone.
But the chronology is important. There's documentation of the army's brutality occurring well before that.
Yeah, I certainly witnessed violence from both sides here firsthand.
Who do you think leaked those reports?
What do you mean?
Who leaked the reports of rabid leftists slaughtering peacekeeping soldiers?
Do you want me to define a leak?
It was a pretext. You don't think that the United States
You
has
can't
any interest
talk
in...
like that, not here.
You don't think that bullshit was leaked by the US?
Look, I was a reporter, not a conspiracy theorist. I did not learn my Contuta Rican history in an internet chat room. I lived through it, and I honestly don't know the answer. Nobody does. Near the end, it was too dangerous to go outside. There was violence all over the city. They were abducting people, reporters.
Who was?
It could have been either side. We had limited access to information.
I don't understand how you can be so incurious.
Your sister has asked for my perspective. When it's your turn to be interviewed for the film, you can recount your own.
I'm not going to be in the film. I can't.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
Marie, I'm sorry.
Got to be kidding.
Beth says there's a protest downtown that's turned rowdy. We're to sit tight.
What is it?
Same thing. She's mentioning the protest.
What a pro. Next, you'll get a notification. She knows we're here together.
Listen, I'm going to take off.
Let's push pause on the politics. Stay, we'll eat lunch.
I need some air.
You can't go out. It's too dangerous. That's why Beth took on the scouting by herself today. She texted me that conditions are such that we should stay here in the hotel.
What about all that shit you said to me? My micromanaging problem.
I didn't want to worry you with details. It turns out Beth was right to advise caution. My priority is your safety.
It seems like your priority is to keep me off the varsity team.
I'll be back later.
I said no.
Oh, that's too bad, Mom. I'm all grown up.
You seem very mature.
Sorry about it.
I'm sorry you feel you haven't suffered enough. I'm sorry you had to be raised by a wealthy, powerful mother in a wealthy, powerful country, a country that grants you the right to sneer at your blessings.
Acknowledge my privilege. I
And
acknowledge.
blithely proclaim yourself a communist.
I am not a communist. I am not a
I
communist.
spoiled you. A mother should balance the sweet with the bitter. And maybe I erred too much on the marshmallow side.
I'm not a communist. I'm an anarchist.
Tomato. Everything you do in the public sphere reflects on me. We're related, and you can't make pretend otherwise.
Stop this, both of you.
You think if you call yourself Ivan and dress like a campesino, the people here will hold you to their bosom? You think you can pretend you're someone else?
Holy shit.
What's a campesino?
It's a farmer. Your brother believes it's possible for him to volar under the radar.
I haven't showered since my flight.
It's virtue signaling. You do it all the time, and it's ridiculously conspicuous here.
These are my clothes. I'm not trying to signal anything.
Oh, please, you're my son. Who do you think you're fooling?
Ivan exits and steps into the present.
That's the same woman who spent 12 years on TV encouraging us all to own our choices and speak our truths. I don't think she likes me very much. At least not the person I've become. She prefers the pliant little boy she rescued. So yeah, I ended up at the protest. I left the hotel, headed downtown. I got a cup of coffee and tried not to feel smug as I stood drinking it. I watched people gathering. I saw banners. I heard some speeches and picked out the words I could understand. All of it confirmed what I already knew. The people in that country are fucking hungry. After the World Bank loaned Costa Rica money to rebuild. And guess what? Despite being run by a small cadre of career politicians and financiers, the country still ran out of cash. So the World Bank offered a new loan with the requirement that the Costa Ricans implement austerity measures, medidas de austeridad. The government tightened its belt the old-fashioned way. Social welfare programs were slashed. The price of bread went way up, never mind meat. Right now, your average house cat in the US eats more beef than most Costa Ricans. Now, I'm staying in the pristine part of the city, the home base of the rich, but in San Romero, if you don't live in this neighborhood, you're probably poor. Beth warned me away, but I went. I wanted to help.
Ivan steps into his memory of the protest.
My mom was wrong about one thing. I don't know if it was my physical features, my clothes, or my principles, but I fit right in. People spoke to me in Spanish. I pretended it was too loud for me to answer. Somebody passed me a joint. Someone else handed me a sign. A few feet away, I saw some guys. They were painting words I recognized on the walls of a bus stop. An old resistance slogan I remembered from my studies. One was one gesture from me, and they were giving me their spare brush and inviting me to join them. I was painting when I heard a voice on a loudspeaker. There was a press of bodies around me at the wall, and then I began to hear the inevitable. ¿Eres Iván Almanza? Es el hijo de Alaya. They were pointing the cameras on their phones at me as the cops pushed in to shut the protest down.
Ivan is jostled by an invisible crowd of people.
4, 5 armed men. A guy grabbed me by the collar and pushed, and the wall seemed to jump into my forehead. I slid down and twisted away, but then I got kicked in the ribs.
He's struck by an assailant, then falls.
They were stepping on my arms and my chest before yanking me up again. I felt the sticky wetness all over me. I couldn't tell if it was pain or blood.
He scrambles to his feet.
On my feet again, briefly, I saw 6, 8 cell phones filming the whole thing. I'm pretty sure I heard Beth's voice right before someone punched me hard in the face.
Blood erupts from his mouth. Lights shift. We are back in Ivan's suite. The sound of a door opening and some shuffling and grunting.
Espere aquí, por favor.
Beth enters, holding up an injured Ivan, who's clearly out of it. Beth grabs an empty ice bucket and goes back to the door.
Hay una máquina de hielo.
Beth re-enters and looks at Ivan.
What were you thinking?
I fucked up.
Oh, God damn it.
Tell her I went to the protest.
It's too late for that. Hold your face still. Is that blood on your hands?
It's paint.
Beth exits again. She re-enters with Adelio, who's holding the ice bucket he filled. She quickly brings 2 washcloths, handing one to Ivan, who wipes his face. Adelio holds out the ice bucket, and Beth takes it, filling the second cloth with ice.
Yo me encargo. Vaya pues.
She exchanged the bloody washcloth for the ice pack.
You are an idiot.
Está herido. ¿Necesita un médico?
No, doctor. No, I just got punched, I think.
You were knocked out and trampled. Those guys cleaned your clock.
Dijo que limpiaron.
No. Fue noqueado. Lo reventaron.
Sí, claro.
Va a estar bien. Ya debería haber aprendido. I thought you knew better than this.
Yeah.
Usted ya no tiene nada más que hacer aquí.
Vio a toda la gente con los teléfonos, los manifestantes.
Sí, ya está por todo Twitter.
What's on Twitter?
¿Ha visto las grabaciones?
No, pero recibo Google Alerts con noticias sobre la familia.
Somebody talk to me. What's going on?
Ivan, stay fucking put and keep the ice on that.
¿Cree que me filmaron?
No lo sé. ¿Qué le preocupa?
Si me filmaron con él en la protesta,
Está temblando. What are you afraid of?
no me puedo ir a casa. No puedo ir a casa hasta saber eso.
You're mad because someone filmed me, right? I saw the phones.
Okay, tengo que pensarlo. Esta es la llave de mi cuarto. Estoy en el 10º piso, 10-18. Lo veré allí más tarde.
No, no puedo.
¿Tiene otro lugar a donde ir? Tómela.
10-18. Perdóname. Fue una mala idea. Dígale que lo siento.
Why don't you tell him yourself?
Forgive me, Iván. Espera aquí. ¿De acuerdo? Volveré pronto.
Adelio exits.
So that's the man who sent the letter, Adelio Selva. I was just getting started interviewing him when you sent me that asinine text.
I wanted you to know I went to the protest, but I was okay.
You weren't okay.
It wasn't violent until the end. You brought him, Adelio, to the protest with you.
He insisted. I didn't have the chance to fully vet his story. I can do some more tomorrow if it turns out you haven't completely fucked us.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to.
Look, I'll get over it. I'm just pissed off right now. I need to connect Alaya with the authorities. They'll want to talk to her.
I can't believe it.
At least your jaw's not broken. Did they knock out any teeth?
I don't know. I don't care.
Alaya's gonna care. Trust me. We should get ahead of it.
Beth,
I can ask the concierge for a doctor.
I remember. Wait right here. I'll come back soon.
Yeah, he just said that. He's gonna hang out in my room for now.
Room 1018.
Your Spanish is better than I thought.
Wait right here. I'll come back soon.
Keep the ice on there, okay?
Espera aquí. Volveré pronto.
How do you feel? Are you dizzy at all?
I'm telling you, I remember him. He's my father. He left me and my sister to die.
Lights out. End of Act 1.
será de ti, será de ti, será? ¿Qué será de ti, será de ti, será? ¿Qué será de ti, será de ti, será? ¿Qué será de ti, será de ti, será? Será de ti, será. Oído de ciegos, mano de mudo, luz de oscuridad, garganta con nudos, una estrella fuga, huellas en la sombra, polvo que te esconde bajo de mi alfombra. Algo así como el baile de los sentados, un teléfono mudo, suerte de dados, media cuerda de ají, 1 kilo de nueces, besitos, vestiditos de colorete, de colorete. ¿Qué será de ti, será de ti, será? 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 Será de ti, será. Vendedora de apuros, dulces de dieta, o encendiendo faroles por cada mesa, prófuga de la vida sin un grillete, pacifista en la guerra, hippie decente. Será hombro o algún pañuelo para infelices, recogiendo los llantos y cicatrices. Quizá te entregaste al cielo por miedo a la tierra, crucificando sueños por más cadenas, por más cadenas. ¿Qué será de ti, será de ti, será? 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 Será de ti, será. Ojalá no sea, ojalá, ojalá no sea, ojalá, ojalá que no. Quizá te mudaste a la Vea o alguna revista de vanidad. Quizá redimiste a la muerte una vez más. ¿Qué será de ti, será de ti, será? 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 Será de ti, será.
Act 2. A light rises on Yvonne in the present.
The longer you keep us apart, the worse this gets. That's been true for as long as I can remember. Eventually, never mind. Let's get on with it. 2 hotel rooms, 2 conversations.
Lights shift to the past an hour later in Alaya's suite. Yvonne sits near the remains of room service, absently eating French fries.
I understand that, okay? Yo lo entiendo, but my son, él no entendió.
I've sent Marie 3 texts. Have you tried calling her?
One crisis at a time.
A special light rises on Yvonne in the present.
I've never been able to handle not knowing where my sister is. I knew she was mad at me. Pulling out of the documentary, it was a dick move. It was all my fault, really.
Sí, and that's my fault. Es
Culpa mía.
Señor, es culpa mía.
Who's she talking to now?
Military police.
Con permiso, señor. What would you like me to do? ¿Qué
le gustaría que haga?
¿Qué quiere que hago yo? I can't. No puedo controlar what people put on the internet. Comprendo que es serio y yo estoy taking it seriously.
She's been at this for 45 minutes. How long do you plan to keep him a secret?
Shh.
She's going to lose her shit.
Well, what if he publicly disavows anything? Disavow?
Renegar de?
Señor, él va a renegar de todo, okay?
Disavow? What even is that?
But people will read it if it comes from me, if I post it.
Because of your media influence.
Porque yo soy famosa, señor. You know, la gente me escucha. Tengo muchos fans. Ya lo sabe. Millones por Instagram. Everyone will read it. Todo el mundo
va a leerlo.
Incluyendo the President of the United States.
Oh, my God. You've got to let me leave and go talk with him or look for Marie.
Please shut up and wait.
When the hell did you learn all this Spanish?
I lived in Lima. My dad worked for the Naval Research Lab. School was bilingual.
A naval... What? In Peru? How long were you there?
A private family trip. Unas vacaciones. Sí, eso es. What else would it be? ¿Quién? I don't know him. I don't know who that is. No lo conozco. No. ¿Cómo? He's saying conspirar. We aren't. No estamos conspirando. Is that what you? How? We don't know anyone from this country. Ellos son de. My children are United States citizens. I need to talk to the embassy. No. I'm not going to do that. No. Ahora voy a hablar con mi
embajada.
Así que I'll have to call you back. No, señor. No. Ciao. Does someone want to tell me about Adelio Silva? Because I've got a number of problems to solve here. I really didn't need the extra challenge of fending off an ambush in a language I barely speak.
You invoked the president and Instagram in the same sentence.
I took a shot.
Was the military guy not in sufficient awe?
Yvonne.
The military guy instructed me to surrender you to his custody until we can resolve what's shaping up to be an international incident. Dissidente means dissident, right? So, how did you meet El Señor Silva, this dissidente with whom the Cantuta Rican government just accused you of conspiring?
He sent me a letter. He's our biological father, Marie's and mine. Turns out our dad didn't die in the war. Yay! Although, I guess he did abandon us. Ooh.
I presume he offered you some proof?
I don't think he has documentation.
So you got a letter from a stranger and we all flew across the hemisphere. You, Beth, Marie. What, did the three of you take a vote on whether to lie to me?
I didn't find out until today.
Marie still doesn't know. I wanted to protect her in case he was a fake. In retrospect, I really regret that.
Absent any evidence, how do you know he's telling the truth?
I've known for 90 minutes since he spoke to me. I remember his face, his voice.
How are you doing?
We can get proof if you want. Let's get a test.
Assuming there's a facility, those tests take days to process.
Surely not for the woman retweeted by the president.
Oh, maybe before, but now we have to leave because of what happened today. We can't be here anymore. The trip is over. The documentary's dead. The man on the phone said you destroyed something. Destruido.
Defaced.
I painted some words on a bus stop.
What possessed you? What words?
Pan o balas. Red or bullets.
It was a rallying cry of the rebels during the war.
I'm familiar with it. I reported on it. We need to get out of the country today. I've got to get a plane here, maybe from Belize. If they can expedite it, there are a few hours of daylight left.
It's unlikely a charter service would agree to fly in or out of San Romero after dark.
Alaya picks up a French fry from Ivan's plate.
These are cold. Do you want me to order you some more?
I hadn't realized I was eating them.
If you're still hungry, you should eat. Are you?
What?
Hungry.
No.
Can we get someone to the room to look at him?
I checked. They don't have an on-call physician.
Did you take pictures?
Of Ivan. I got his face.
Get his torso as well. I'll call the embassy.
I can handle that call. I know someone there.
Do you?
From J school.
Fine. Where the hell is Marie? Have you heard from her?
I've been texting. She's mad at us. She's ghosting.
Me? What did I do?
His phone can track the location of hers, and it says she's still here in the hotel.
Unless her phone isn't with her.
She always has it. She's been using it to film.
There's no plane for us now, right?
I said I'll have to bring one in from outside the country.
Then we've got a few hours. I'm going to go talk to him.
I guess you didn't hear me. We can't seek this man out. Any association with him digs us deeper. We have to stay here in the hotel until our plane is ready.
Mom.
Back me up, Beth.
He's in the hotel right now.
He's in my room. I gave him the key.
You keep burying the lead.
I'm sorry.
You left this man alone in your room? How much does he want?
He hasn't asked me for anything. Did he ask you?
You wait. Go get rid of him.
Hold on. You don't get to decide that, whether you believe he's my father or not.
I don't care if he's your father. What if he is? He's manipulating you for financial gain.
You know this.
I do.
Because there's no way he's reconnected out of real sentiment.
No, I'm sorry. No, it's a shakedown. He wouldn't have reached out unless he wanted something from you, something he can't get from me.
What, compassion? Because I can't get that from you either.
Son, look at me. Let me see your face so I'm sure you understand.
It doesn't matter if I'm looking at you. You don't see me. You can't see me anymore.
Maybe I can't see you as well as I used to, but I'm trying. I've been trying for years. Adelio Silva had his chance to be your father.
How can you say that?
Don't let him abandon you again.
You don't know him.
Yes, I do. He wrote me a few years ago. We exchanged some letters. This same man. You were in college. Your sister was about to graduate high school. You were practically adults. It seemed like a good time. I offered to put you in touch with him, plan an in-person visit. No. I asked how I could help him heal the past, make amends with his children. No. He didn't want to be your father, not even nominally. He wanted money. He wrote that his presence in your lives would be worse for you than his absence. But if I paid him the requested amount, he'd promise to stay away. I sent him a small fortune. I'd do it again. I thought if it kept you and your sister clear of such a disappointing man, $350,000 was a fucking bargain. Pardon me, you know I don't like to swear. What now? What next?
The airplane. Out to the embassy.
And the photos, and find my daughter.
She exits while leaving a voicemail.
This is Alaya Almanza. I urgently need to arrange a flight out of San Romero today. I can be reached at...
You okay?
She takes several photos of Ivan's face.
The swelling's gone down.
She can't keep me from him.
No, I don't think she can.
Adelio and I are going to have a conversation.
Can you take your shirt off?
Ivan removes his shirt, groaning.
Easy. You may have a cracked rib.
Beth takes a photo or two.
It hurts, doesn't it?
I'm okay.
It's not really visible to look at you. It doesn't show.
Lights shift. Adelio is waiting in Beth's room.
Hi. Are you in there? Can you let me in, please?
Adelio opens the door, expecting to see Beth.
Have I got the wrong room? I thought she was in 1018. I'm looking for a friend of my mother's. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Marie.
María Elena, ¿sí?
Yes, but no one calls me that.
María Elena es un nombre tan hermoso.
Habla inglés?
I am an English teacher. María Elena is a beautiful name.
Oh, yeah, you think?
It was my grandmother's name.
If I introduce myself as Maria Elena, people expect me to speak Spanish, and I don't.
Why not?
So, you know Beth?
Yes, this room is hers.
Did Beth bring you here for the project, the documentary?
She was asking me questions.
Sure. Okay.
I believe she will return soon.
Actually, is it all right if I interview you? I'm the filmmaker.
Come in.
Oh my God, my brother. He's clearly bored. I've been filming all over the hotel and he keeps texting. I had to silence the notifications. Beth probably told you I'm making a documentary about the war 15 years ago through the lens of my family. I was in the famous photograph taken next to the fountain in the hotel. The little girl and boy, you know?
I know.
I was 6, almost 7.
So young. How much do you remember?
Not much. That's why I'm making the film.
You are going to film me.
Is that okay? I don't have to.
That is better.
I'll put this down. We can just talk. Your name is?
Me, Adelio.
Thank you for speaking with me, Mr. Adelo.
Adelio. It is my first name, as Maria Elena is yours.
You can call me Marie. And you have lived in San Romero since?
Many years. I moved here with my wife for work. I taught at the university. My wife, Inez, was employed with the government.
Your area of study was English?
Trees.
Trees? Like trees? Como árboles?
Perfecto. I led a program in forest ecology and conservation. Inez worked in forestry as a researcher, a silvicultural researcher.
That sounds like important work.
Important work is while it lasted.
They shut you down?
When the university was occupied, my department closed down.
And your wife's work?
They took my wife.
What? Who did?
I don't. Here we say she was disappeared.
Were you ever able to track Inez down?
It was long ago now. Once upon a time. Yes?
¿En dónde alguna vez?
Lo sabía. You have some Spanish.
It's from a book my birth parents read to me. I must have heard it 100 times. Later, I found out it was originally written in English, a very popular children's book, but I'd learned the Spanish version. Yo soy el Lorax, que
Que
habla.
hablo por los árboles.
You know it too.
Dr. Seuss. There was no good way to tell you.
Papa?
Marilena, va a estar todo bien.
Maria Elena fires off a quick text. In Elia's suite, Ivan's phone buzzes.
That's Marie.
Where is she?
Yvonne tosses Beth his phone, heading for the door. She glances at the text and follows after Yvonne.
I don't understand. Why are you here?
I live in San Romero.
No. Why are you alive on planet Earth?
God only knows why I survived, by what reason, or for what purpose.
You've been living in our old house without my brother and me all this time. The house with the blue door?
That house is gone.
Oh, it's gone. Everything's gone.
Everything is gone. They put me in prison for 10 years, and by the time I got out, it was gone. From 2005 until 2015.
Why?
Because I rebelled. For a short time, I was with the resistance fighters.
My brother has read about the war. He told me. Did they hurt you? Your captors? I guess you don't have to tell me.
I think you're asking about tortura, no? What they did to me?
I mean, not if you don't.
It's not good to talk about this. I work for them now, the wealthy ones. I instruct their children in English. It's how I earn my living.
I want to be able to help you.
To return to prison does not help me.
Can you tell me anything else about Inez?
She advised the government on the responsible way to use forest resources.
You're telling me about her job. I need to understand what happened to her so I can understand what happened to me.
Beth uses her keycard to open the door to the room. Beth and Yvonne slip quietly inside.
I think they blocked her car and then pulled her into a van.
Ooh.
I can only assume this. I did not see it, but her vehicle was found.
Adelio sees Yvonne and Beth.
Come in, you two.
¿Se ve mejor?
Creo que se rompió la costilla, pero
Ay, dígale que se siente.
hablemos en inglés, por favor.
You must have pain, Ivan. Sit.
This is our father. He told me about our mother was disappeared. I'm asking who took her. Who took Inez?
Do you know this phrase? Escuadrones de la muerte.
Death squads.
I'd make introductions, but everybody already seems to know everybody.
Some stuff I need to tell you.
What about these death squads?
They targeted her.
I'm sure it was them.
Yes.
But our birth mother's definitely no longer living?
To me, she is not. I looked for her on the roadsides, the riverbanks. I searched the morgue and later the body dumps. I never saw her. I cannot be definite.
Ask him how long he waited before he took up with that other woman.
What are you?
He knows what I'm talking about.
Her name was Claudia.
Your wife vanished. How long did you wait?
Let me catch up.
I'm pretty sure he left us for her. How did that work out? Are you still together?
Claudia died. Ines died. So many people died during that time.
Why equivocate?
For me, there's no point in telling these stories. They always end the same way.
Maybe the point is for us, my brother and me, to give us some closure.
¿Qué es eso?
Closure? Como cierre.
Es una tendencia moderna. Psicología barata. María Elena, you remember the blue door of our old house. You think the door needs closing, but the fact is, there is no door. It is gone.
Everything's gone.
You brought a stranger to live in that house. She was younger than our mother.
Don't do this now.
What?
What you always do. This is my trip, my project.
Well, I didn't come for your project, Marie. I came for him.
Because you already knew he was here.
Because he wrote me a letter and invited me.
My brother is like a god with a bone.
A god?
A dog, Jesus.
Jesús. Sí, un perro, ¿verdad?
You wrote my brother. Why didn't you write me?
Why
didn't you tell me he wrote you? Why are you even still here?
It's my room.
Claudia.
She was a university student. She dropped out to join the resistance.
Needed your help?
Yes.
She slept in his bed.
There were small camps in the forests. I knew the forest. I knew where they were, how to find the puestos de avanzada.
Outposts.
They asked me at one point to carry messages for them, and I said no. I had two small children with no mother, without a mother.
Is that why you brought Claudia home? To take care of us?
Claudia had no interest in us.
No. She wanted to leave the city. She wanted me to leave the city with her and join the rebel camps. San Romero was... The fields had burned. The farmers who lived in the Champas were driven out, taken, or... Inside the city, we were slowly starving. We were afraid. We whispered. No one could talk out loud or even appear angry. The army had run over the rest of the country. We knew an attack was coming, and Claudia wanted to fight them.
And you?
Not at first.
Claudia have dark hair?
See, Claudia was India. Indigenous people suffered the most then.
Now too.
Our mother's hair was...
Rubio.
Blonde.
She colored her hair, but yes.
Claudia didn't want us around, did she?
She was young, and she was not your mother.
That answers that.
Wars are not for children. You were hungry, you cried. I could not get soap. I could not bathe you. You kept losing your shoes. Your pantalones kept falling down.
We lost weight.
Your mouth full of caries en los dientes huecos.
Son cavidades, cavities.
It would not have been any better for you in the forest. I was failing you and failing the resistance at the same time. I could not do both.
That's noble language for a guy who abandoned his kids in a hotel lobby.
There were foreign reporters there. It was the safest place.
You told us to wait for you. You told me you'd come back.
Vaughn.
Then you ran away with your girlfriend.
No, I did not. I did not choose Claudia in place of my children.
We must have been a handful with our pants falling down.
I chose my country. ¿Entienden? The land that sustained me, la mamá, mi tierra, la patria.
Your motherland.
You lied to me and left. Espera aquí, ¿de acuerdo? Volveré pronto. I'm just quoting you.
I returned. I returned that same day.
Bullshit.
We had made it outside the city. Claudia, some friends, me, we were crossing the burning fields to get to the trees in the skirts of the hills.
Particles drift through the air.
The subsistence farms had been destroyed, and there were acres of burned sugar cane with no one to harvest, just ash, soot, and sharp sticks covering the ground. The smoke after burning is full of agrochemicals, very bad to breathe. Unfortunately, our enemies could easily see us there. We had no protection. Someone shot Claudia, a sniper. We tried to drag her to safety. Our friends continued to the hills. And I don't know what happened to them. I turned back to San Romeo.
Why?
Claudia was very brave, stronger than me. I could not be a guerrillero. I had no stomach for it.
See, he didn't return for us. He returned because he gave up.
It was a long walk. The rebels and the army were fighting all over the city. I was almost in the hotel when I saw soldiers go inside. There were screams and shots, and then they came out. I ran. I reached the Hilton inside the vestibule. Somehow you were still alive.
The falling particles cease.
Saw us?
A person was approaching you.
That was Juan Chu, my mom's friend, the man who took the photo.
I don't know. His back was facing me. He was talking with you. You remember this?
Maybe. He was holding a Coke in a bottle.
Coke? No.
Yes, he was gonna give me some.
Why would he be home?
On the floor to work his camera. I thought the bottle would fall over.
I yelled for him to turn around. He didn't turn.
And it
He
did
came
fall.
nearer to you.
And then it did fall. Did you see how Juan Chu died?
Submachine gun. We all had them.
Are you... What are you... Who shot him?
I did. And then I saw Alay Almanza abduct you. I was detained and jailed the same day. What will happen to me now?
The cell phone footage was all over social media. Some news outlets picked it up.
They have identified me in the recordings.
I believe the local authorities have. My friend at the embassy is getting confirmation.
Why did you come here?
You invited me.
And you went to a protest. Now I cannot go home. You should have come to me instead of making trouble with the agitators.
That's a misconception about anarchists.
He
I
said...
did not say anarchistas. I know what anarchism is.
Vaughn.
There's violence, vandalism.
Anarchism is not about chaos. What the average person calls anarchy is not anarchism. It's not dog eat dog or God eat God, whatever. That's competition. It's also not the dismantling of a civilization as a meaningless construct. That's nihilism. In 1871, the Paris Commune was born after the Franco-Prussian War. The Prussians surrounded Paris and bombarded its citizens, and no one in the imperial government seemed to care. The Commune sprang to life and took over a section of Paris to help the workers and the poor. They said, we're going to do it our way because life is terrifying here, and doing it your way has ruined everything. It was extraordinary. For about 2 months, they were actually practicing anarchism. Then the French army came into the city and massacred their own people by the thousands. Why was the Paris Commune suppressed? Was it because real-life anarchism failed to live up to its theoretical ideals? It wasn't allowed to exist long enough to find out.
Well, have your ideology if you can afford it.
It's because I can afford to lend my support that I must. I stood with the protesters because I believe in their cause.
It wasn't a protest about political philosophy. It was a protest about hambre, hunger. Hunger does not care what you believe. Or police don't care what you believe. The people marching don't even care what you believe. And you don't care about hunger because you're not hungry, no? You have plenty.
Nah, we're getting down to it.
Senor, they traveled here because they want to help.
She's here because she's made to make a movie. And he is here to march with strangers. This is not help.
I'll turn it off then.
You said you will not record me.
I didn't record any video, only audio because I wasn't taking any notes. It was an interview. I didn't know.
You must erase this recording.
I promise I won't give it to anyone.
You will use it in your movie.
I don't know. There isn't any movie yet. Please, this is all I'm going to have.
Already you have everything. And you want more.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
you need money? We can get you some. Not another 350,000, but
Another.
the amount my mother sent you. Are you going to say you didn't ask her?
Yes, I asked her for the money. I never received it.
What money?
Doesn't matter now.
Yes, it does.
What money, Ivan?
By this point, my sister was so far behind me, she was absent from view. I turned a corner somewhere, forgot she had no trail to follow beyond the wreck I was leaving in my wake. What happened next was not her fault.
I don't want money from you.
And what do you want?
What can we do?
You can erase this recording and you can take me out of this country.
Ivan exits Beth's room, enters the present.
The density of inauthenticities we move through, the clouds of obfuscation, they become the air we breathe. Like the ash from a torched sugarcane field. It floats everywhere, obscuring and impeding, covering everything in chemical sweetness until it all looks the same. Distinctions become impossible to parse, footnotes on top of footnotes until exhausted, we give up. The burned coffee beans we're used to drinking. Like the lies we tell ourselves, we mistake the acrid taste and smell for sophistication, complexity. But that's just what's left after something irreplaceable has been lost.
Lights lower on Ivan, who leaves the stage.
No permita que conserve la grabación.
I promise I will safeguard her phone.
Si me capturan, me desharán.
Please calm down.
Excuse me.
La señora tiene un avión,
Please.
¿verdad?
No puedo darle una respuesta ahora.
I can't understand you.
Estás aquí, aprenda la lengua.
You are here. Then something the tongue?
Language.
Oh, I see.
Why did you never learn Spanish?
Parce que j'ai appris le français.
Puchica.
Beth exits. Lights shift. Ivan appears. Is it the past or the present? We're unclear.
I need some water. Can I have some water?
Beth enters with water.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
Thirsty?
Is Marie okay?
Hyperarousal.
Huh?
This, you. Your hippocampus has gone offline. Your amygdala's running the show.
Yeah, I'm losing it.
No, it's PTSD. Naming what's actually happening can be helpful. You can Google this shit.
I'm over this, you know? Do you want to get out of here?
The two now appear to be standing in one of the endless hallways of the hotel.
There was a jet in Belize and it's been summoned. We'll get you and Marie in the air as soon as possible.
My mother and Adelio, one big happy family. Either he's lying or she is. Oh, wait, you bought my mother's tantrum?
You told her Adelio accused her of kidnapping you and your sister. She was angry.
I mean, about the money.
She swears she sent it. He claims she didn't.
Claims he didn't receive the money.
Somebody's lying.
I don't think so. Famous refugee urges armed revolution. That's you.
Is this? When was this?
See, 75 minutes ago, CNN. Apparently, a journalist dug up some kind of manifesto you wrote.
When I was 19.
Mashable has something on your efforts to destabilize America. Then there's this one from the New York Times. Elias' son in league with terrorist.
Adelio isn't a terrorist.
The Times just called him one, which means more than one source told them he was. Who knows how long he's had that designation?
Come on.
The current government in Costa Rica, the one backed by the United States, is the same regime that locked up and tortured Adelio for a decade. 4 years ago, your mother sends $350,000 to a dissident criminal in an unstable Latin American country with U.S. military ties.
You're saying the money was confiscated. Oh, fuck.
It's a federal crime to provide material aid to a terrorist.
Not a terrorist.
Alaya is lucky under the circumstances. Her celebrity insulates her. But it's pretty clear both your mother and father are persons of interest to the Costa Ricans or to the US Americans, or both.
He's not going anywhere, is he?
Lights shift. Alaya knocks on Beth's door. Maria Elena anxiously opens it.
Marie, the plane is at the airfield. We'll need to gather your things.
Mommy, we need some help.
We'll get it sorted, honey. Hello. You're looking remarkably well.
Not as well as you.
I mean, for a man who's been so appallingly wronged. I abducted your children. Do I have that right?
Didn't you see me there? I know you did. And still you took them.
I saw a man holding an automatic weapon. I saw half a dozen people dead on the floor. My friend dead on the floor. What would you have done in my place? Oh, but you were in my place, Mr. Selva. You were in the lobby.
Inez gave birth to them. They were ours.
You must have hoped they'd be rescued by someone like me.
And you swallowed them into your country, and to make them yours.
They'd been alone for hours. They were in shock. They were starving. Your children. You were standing right there. Why didn't you say something?
Never I have killed someone before that day. He was holding something at his waist, pointing to the children.
A digital camera.
Then you came, you looked afraid of me and so angry, a man ran through screaming.
Yeah, the last reporter, the one from the UK.
I could not understand him.
He was from Belfast. His accent was thick. He yelled for me to follow him. It shouldn't have been me that day. I wasn't supposed to be here. I didn't know what I was doing as a journalist. I was green. I didn't speak the language.
Her grandfather did.
He was an immigrant. He spoke only Spanish. Not my dad, not me. My grandfather wanted his descendants to wield English expertly like a knife, hoping it would protect us somehow, which in a way it did. For years, I'd been advised to change my name. People were puzzled by Alaya. And after 9/11, Almanza sounded suspiciously, well, it does mean the house in Arabic. When the Civil War broke out here, I begged to cover it, and it was my name, my grandfather's name, that won me the assignment. At last, it worked in my favor. My colleagues seemed relieved to know what to do with me. They assumed my heritage lent me a real connection to this language, these people.
Maybe it did.
I never imagined they were yours. I never would have taken them had I known.
You gave them a life. I couldn't. Marilena, I wish that call for you. Cariño, yo debería haber. I should have.
Maria Elena hugs him. He receives the embrace tentatively, almost woodenly.
We're getting you out of here.
Yes, of course, we're going to try. There's been a significant crackdown on border security. It's especially complicated right now. Have you been checking the news?
We have a plane. They won't keep us from taking off.
I'm not sure about that. And if we did take off, we could run into trouble when we land.
Then fuck the US. Mom, you're you. We can go anywhere. Disappear.
We can't just drop off the map. I'm fairly conspicuous.
Is there not some way?
Of course there is.
What about your friends? School, I'm on your side. I'm just thinking.
Take this moment to choose your life. It's yours.
We don't have to burn it all down.
Now's the moment to use your life. Mom, I decided. I chose. Isn't that your whole thing?
I'm saying it can't happen today.
His life's in danger here.
Maria Elena,
In order to protect him, we have to follow the law, the established channels. Mr. Selva, you need a
took
visa.
2 children across the border.
There's no basis for comparison
Where were our
between
visas?
those were different circumstances.
Mari, escucha a
We
tu
can travel
madre.
abroad for the next 6 to 12 months. Try a few different places.
Leaving a trail a mile long, wire transfers, credit cards, finding us would be child's play.
How motivated would they be, though? We're not criminals. And while we're away, we can work on the documentary.
The
We
documentary,
make it. We release it.
baby, there is no documentary.
Then we use our leverage, our return to the United States, and voila. What is it?
I do not think you should make this film.
Our story is important, powerful. We can make them listen.
No.
You might change your mind once we're in Martinique. Then we table it.
Marie, your brother's in trouble.
Seriously, the film can wait. Let's get you to safety first.
Ivan needs us to return home tonight or he risks being arrested.
Because he went to a protest and got in a fight? Because he always does any fucking thing he pleases? You have to come with us. You have to come. You have to.
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Salvo. We don't have much time. We need to head to the airport. I'm giving you my word. I will begin the process of combing through your options, beginning with a refugee application as soon as I'm back home. Please understand that's where I'll have the most influence.
Thank you.
You're going to let us go? Don't. Don't you dare.
Shh. It's okay. Ve con tu mamá. Ve. Ve.
I'll go and pack your bags, all right? I'd give anything to fix this right now, here and now, to make it go away, but I can't.
Oh, yes, you can. You just don't want to.
Alaya exits. Lights shift. Ivan arrives in the lobby with Beth, their luggage and film equipment.
We got to the lobby with our bags just as my mother wearily stepped off the elevator.
Marie's stonewalling. She won't answer the door. Any progress with the embassy?
It's a no. They can't sponsor Adelio as a refugee.
Damn it.
It'll have to be an immigrant visa down the line.
How likely is that to pan out? What if we just take him with us?
That a serious question? We asked for permission. We've been told no.
But what does it look like? What really happens?
To the government, he's a terrorist.
Which government?
Take your pick.
My daughter is heartbroken. I haven't seen her like this in a long time, maybe ever.
She doesn't understand what we're dealing with here.
She won't trust me. I don't know what to do.
Years ago, after our adoption, our mother took us to Disneyland. She wasn't so famous then, we could sort of blend in. We paused at the little castle, which she named our home base. You won't get lost, she said, but if you do, we'll meet up here. Of course, I was suspicious of this pastel structure with turrets, but no stronghold. I had my own plan. My plan was that my home base was Maria Elena. I was sticking with her. Concession stands, water fountains, restrooms. We did them all together. And still the trip ended in tears. Our mother, striving for efficiency, went to get napkins for our sticky hands while we saved a bench. And Marie screamed, howled, believing she meant to ditch us in the happiest place on earth.
I think I'm losing her.
I'll call her.
Beth hands Ivan his phone. Ivan dials and waits.
Can I have your room key?
No answer. Beth takes Ivan's phone.
What are you?
She opens his Find My app.
Where is she?
She's not here. She left the hotel. Looks like they're going to the airfield.
She and?
She's taking him with her, no question. I'm getting a taxi. Please stay here. Keep your phone on.
Alaya exits rapidly. Ivan sits down, dumbfounded. Beth hands Ivan his phone, pulling out her own.
What are you doing?
Excuse me a second. Sí, necesito que haga algo al toque.
Now, this is the part where shit gets real. Isn't it about time after so much pretense? Because this is when my mom's colleague, my sister's producer, my whatever, places a call to ensure the private plane stays on the ground.
Muy importante, dígales que no usen armas.
Who was that?
My contact at the embassy.
Who speaks English, right?
What's your point?
I don't know, that you're being rude.
How much did you understand?
It sounds like you called the cops on my sister.
It was a last resort. They're going to have to block the airstrip with their vehicles, prevent the plane from taking off.
And then?
Marie will be sent back to the US, probably in government custody. They'll question her, determine whether she's been radicalized by her father. That's the concern when someone tries to hijack an aircraft with a terrorist. I mean, that's how it looks.
That's not how it is.
I think you know that the facts can be massaged in any number of directions. You and Alaya should fly tonight to LAX as planned. You'll be debriefed tomorrow in Los Angeles.
You really think they're going to hold Marie?
Yes, but she'll be all right. Honestly, this is a preferable outcome.
Preferable to... Who the hell are you?
I'm your friend. I've been trying to help your family. You, Marie, Alaya, Adelio. You keep trying for end runs. You're fucking exhausting.
So tell me the truth.
You don't listen. I told you this morning in your ear. You asked for a secret.
I thought you were flirting.
I was. And I guess I hoped you'd... I can't seem to stop you from blowing your life up.
You were assigned? I was an assignment.
They wanted someone on Alaya after she sent Adelio the money. I covered her at first. More recently, yeah, you. I'm sorry.
You're sorry. What's the magic word here? You must be waiting for me to say something specific. I offer you assurances that I'm not, my family is not a threat. I said I'm not a communist. In point of fact, I'm not much of anything. I'm not even an anarchist, really. I don't live as one, so I'm not one. I guess you could say my anarchism is aspirational. It's a theory, an ideal I've never seen borne out. I've read enough to know that the sort of change I want requires revolutionaries willing to endure endless loss against merciless odds. Merciless. I'm beginning to feel what that means. My father lost everything the day he left us. But it turns out there was still more for him to lose. He's not done losing. I saw 6 innocent people gunned down in front of me when I was 9. I didn't cry then. But separate my siblings from me, and well, apparently that's my outer limit. I really need to see my sister. Will you let me see her? Please. I'll help you. I'll do what has to be done.
A door has opened.
Yvonne?
Maria Elena enters with 2 paper cups of coffee. Ivan leaps to his feet as his sister runs forward. They almost spill the coffee and laugh.
Sorry.
Ivan puts the coffee down and holds her.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I was so scared.
These sons of bitches, they won't let up.
You get any sleep?
I don't know. Not really. You?
Coffee's good and hot. How'd you get it?
Beth. She said you'd hate it.
Yeah.
He's still over there.
I know. I'm so sorry.
It was foolish what I did.
You were very brave.
We're American citizens. I mean, what the fuck?
They're in a bind. They're worried what you'll do once they release you.
Oh, I'm gonna make a lot of noise. I can imagine the holy hell Mom's raising.
Mom made a deal on the flight home. They sent her a document and she signed it. She's going to stay retired, no comebacks. And she agreed not to make any public statements about this.
Why would she do that? She's the one with the platform.
She's vulnerable because of the money she tried to send, and because charges against you, if they're brought, would be really serious.
But I didn't do anything.
I'm going to change my area of study. Stop being such a rabble rouser. And I think that will do it. As long as you
No.
surrender the cell phone recording and give up the doc. Marie, I'm out of ideas. Nobody on either side wants this film made.
Nobody but me. I'm not afraid.
I am. Let's make something else. I'll help you. You and me.
Yeah.
I want to go home.
Me too.
Isn't it time to go home?
You believe this is the right choice.
I do. I really honestly think I do.
They stand and face one another, then open out to the proscenium, holding hands. A brief flurry of particles fall. Ivan is stoic. Maria Elena is crying. Lights. End of play.